Good morning. Every year since before I was born, my family has gone to our tiny cabin in Belgrade, Maine. My grandparents have a house about 6 cabins down from ours, and it is there that reminds me most of my family and my childhood. When I was younger, my cousins, my brother, and I would ride bikes, watch the freight train pass by our house, sometimes leaving pennies on the tracks to squish. We would collect bugs in the woods, go kayaking and swimming on the lake, and end most nights playing Monopoly or Yahtzee. It has always been my family's little getaway from Brooks in the summertime. Anyways, my extended family is always there during Labor Day, and every year we go to the same fair called the Windsor Fair. One year when I was in 3rd grade, I wanted desperately to do this thing called the pig scramble. As most of you don't know, a pig scramble is probably one of the most Maine things ever. It's a contest for middle schoolers where you put your name in a raffle, and if you're chosen, you go into this outdoor arena with stands. I was so excited for this thing. I had been waiting to be old enough, and when the farmer was reading off the list of kids, he said my name. So I got down from the stands, the entire Latham family is cheering for me, and I have this huge grin across my face. I get into the arena, and all the kids line up, and there's a bunch of baby pigs running around, but fewer pigs than there are kids. We each got a big brown sack and a piece of string, and when the farmer says go, you have to somehow catch a pig, put it in the bag, and tie it up. And the deal was, if you're lucky enough to get the pig, you can either keep it or sell it back to the farmer for $20. I was so nervous. I kept thinking to myself, how on earth am I going to catch a pig that is faster than me and get it into a bag? Anyways, they said go, and the other kids and I start to tentatively jog around the pen, trying to corner the pigs. They start squealing and running around faster and faster, and at one point, this one kid catches one somehow, and the pig is so deathly afraid of him that its backside just exploded all over this kid. You could just hear the parents in the crowd groan. And I thought my cousin was going to get sick. This kid was just covered, but I thought he held on to the pig, and I thought, geez, if this kid can hold on to the pig after all that, like I can catch a pig. So I thought, okay, and I lunged after a pig after a couple times, and I caught it. I grabbed it by its back leg and put its head into the bag, and I tied it up. And I wanted to keep my pig so badly. Since my dad's parents had a small farm when he was growing up, I begged my grandpa to bring it home. But unfortunately, I had to sell it back to the farmer for $20. And I still have that $20 bill today. What is something Brooks doesn't know about you? Earlier this year, during his chapel speech, Mr. Hale talked about the danger of a single story, a concept that comes from Nigerian author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's TED Talk, which has stayed with me a lot this year. Her speech is about what happens when complex human beings and situations are reduced to a single narrative. To use her example, like when Africans are treated solely as pitiable, poor, starving victims with flies on their faces, her point was that each individual life contains a heterogeneous compilation of stories. If we reduce people to one, we're taking away their humanity. Here at Brooks, my single story is somewhere along the lines of an annoying lesbian feminist who's wasting her time. After hearing about my pig scramble story, I hope at least I'll be an annoying lesbian feminist who caught a pig. And then just maybe you'll pause before you delete my emails from your inbox and roll your eyes when you hear something about Wink, GSA, Spectrum, the thrift store, the dress code, or my photography project. And maybe you'll be interested in knowing why I choose to be persistently present. I believe doing something is better than doing nothing at all, and even if whatever I'm doing doesn't help me, I know it will make a difference for someone else. There was a science teacher here my freshman year named Miss Sippin. Those of you who have been here that long probably remember her cheerfully optimistic attitude, colorful outfits, and will to bring social change. Before she left, I'm sure some of you got this too, she gave me a little envelope with a note and 2 trinkets inside, a pin and a keychain. The keychain is of a penny with the phrase, "Be the change," imprinted on it. The pin says, "What would you do if you were unafraid? Do it." I try and live by those 2 values every day, and I still have each on my backpack. At this point, most of you are probably wondering how all these things tie together. Well, unfortunately, because of the rain today and last night, you weren't able to see the large photographs pasted on the ground all along Main Street on your way to chapel. But if you read any of my emails or were in the project, you'd know I'm talking about the photography independent I've been working on this spring. After the installation later this week, you'll notice a box with some writing under each image. When I sat down with each of the 100 people I photographed, I asked them one question and they had to write down their answer. What is something Brooks doesn't know about you? They range from, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, to I love to sing. And mine was that when I was in 3rd grade, I caught a pig in a pig scramble. A story most of you would never have heard if I hadn't shared it today. And while it's silly, it shares a piece of who I am that isn't visible from the outside or through my single story. The name of my photography project is See Me, because through these expressive portraits and responses to my question, you're able to see these people for who they are in a light that you probably wouldn't see day to day. Here at Brooks, I often hear people say that everyone knows everything about everyone here. While we may know the latest gossip, you could probably sit next to the same person in math class all year and have no idea what they're going through, despite what might appear on the outside. Also, with the election earlier this year, I've heard so many times that this school is divided. And while I don't like to hear that, I feel it too. People have been pulled in different directions because they have different ideas from one another, evoking a wide range of intense emotions. Through my photo project, I wanted to instead focus on what we have in common. We're all human, and I wanted to do something that brought us together in a way that is natural, that gives us the opportunity to celebrate, to recognize the importance of the individual and the greater community, and to see people for their differences. Let us celebrate the people who are here, because none of us have a single story. To wrap up, I'm going to show you about a quarter of the images from the project, and I'll read aloud their responses to the question. Donna is a 2-time cancer survivor. Adonis is a mentor to kids at the Boys Club in New York. Taylor's favorite animal is an elephant. Mr. Burbank interviewed at Pixar. Mrs. Miller ran the New York Marathon. William loves to sing. Jules is a black belt. Lenny is a carpenter. Stephanie is a first-generation college graduate. Talha loves to write poetry. Madison has watched The Office more than 20 times. Mr. St. Cyr was the first co-captain of the first varsity soccer team at North Andover High. Kim was a flight attendant for 25 years. Nick works at an arcade. Kennedy's parents are divorced. Mr. Waters is a feminist. Joanne was a DJ. Mr. Campbell pursued a career in improv in his 20s. Maddie is an anorexia survivor. Mr. Packard loves Taylor Swift's music. Mrs. Konovalchik had dinner with Larry Bird. Mr. Hale is the child of an immigrant. Nalia is afraid of the ocean. Mr. Carson survived a brain tumor. And Eliza has a cat named Kanye. So anyone who's been an exchange student here knows about Pico Iyer's article about why we travel, a favorite of Mr. McLaughlin's that he usually shares every year. The point is this: we initially travel to lose ourselves and then to find ourselves. And similarly in this project, I think the photos allow us to lose our familiar ideas about each other while discovering more authentic, nuanced versions of them. So I want to thank all my teachers who taught me that it's possible to get past the assumptions of a single narrative, who taught me to ask questions, and who inspired me to find my purpose. I don't think you get enough credit. You all work in entirely different ways, but you see me. I also want to make sure to thank everyone who helped me make my independent possible. Thank you to everyone who got their photo taken. Thank you to Miss Stewart, who drove me around numerous times to get supplies and helped me in the planning process. Thank you to Miss Sherelle, your guidance was crucial. And thank you to my installation team, who will work tirelessly in the next couple days. I really couldn't have done it without you. So on Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m., I'll have my official art opening for the project. I'll have a table set up outside near the auditorium with cookies and lemonade. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And whether or not you come by, I encourage you to see what people have to say. The next time you walk to lunch, look up from your phone and look at the photos of your classmates, teachers, and members of the staff. Talk to the person who serves you lunch, who cleans your dorm, and who sits alone. Don't think you have to wait until you're a senior or even until you're an upperclassman to make a difference. What would you do if you were unafraid?
I would switch the coffee house to the faculty room.
I'd start a food fight in the dining hall.
I'd swim in the lake.
I'd call Mr. Packard John.
I'd be on a dress code.
I'd try a golf cart to Mad Maggie's.
I'd ring the chapel bell at 10 p.m. I would wear a hat in front of Miss Davies.
I would think about giving a head's holiday.
So do it.